सो हाय गाइस, वेलकम टू अ न्यू एपिसोड ऑफ देसी फुटबॉल बैंटर। आज हमारे साथ हैं द यूनाइटेड रेड डेविल्स, सारे के सारे। आशीष है, सौम्यकांत भाई हैं एंड अंकुश भाई भी हैं। सबका स्वागत है ऑन दिस चैनल फॉर अ न्यू एपिसोड। चेल्सी वाला गेम आप सबने देखा क्या?
ऑफ कोर्स देगा। ट्रॉमा से हम लोग निकले नहीं है।
अच्छा।
हाँ
एटलीस्ट मैं तो नहीं निकला, अभी भी उस ट्रॉमा में हूँ। मेरा पूरा दिन खराब हो गया उस दिन।
अच्छा।
मैंने नीचे कुछ फोड़ दिया उस दिन।
मैं ऑफिस में था। आई वाज डिस्कॉर्ड में भी मैं बोल रहा था कि यार ऐसा लग रहा है मैं किसी को गाली वाली दे दूंगा, मैं निकलूँ ऑफिस से, अभी घर जाऊं। आई डोंट वांट टू गेट इन ट्रबल। इतना फ्रस्ट्रेशन।
Very get the loss and the sleep deprivation as a result of that. I think combined, I think it's one of the worst experiences of the season that really
अच्छा।
happened.
हैंड्स डाउन
So
पूरे मैच में, अपार्ट फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट 20 मिनट्स
हम्म।
चेल्सी का, द रेस्ट ऑफ द गेम यूनाइटेड डिड लॉट ऑफ गुड काउंटर अटैक्स। वी डिफेंडेड लो ब्लॉक अच्छा। एंड छोड़ो वो सब डिफेंस, छोड़ो, दिस गेम वाज अ गेम ऑफ टू रियली रियली पुअर डिफेंसिव टीम्स। जैसे एंड टू एंड मैच, सेकंड हाफ वाज कंप्लीटली मैडनेस। 45 मिनट से लेकर 60 मिनट तक इट वाज लाइक एक अटैक यहाँ जा रहा है, एंड टू एंड अटैक चल रहा है, देयर इज नो रेस्पाइट। मतलब देयर वाज अ बिग गैप बिटवीन द मिडफील्ड एंड द डिफेंस। वहां पे सब दौड़ रहे हैं फ्रीली, पाल्मर फ्रीली दौड़ रहा है वहां पे। देयर वाज अ फेज वेयर यहाँ पे ब्रूनो फ्रीली दौड़ रहा है। आई थिंक फ्रॉम 75th मिनट टू द 95th मिनट, आई वुड से यूनाइटेड हैड द गेम इन कंट्रोल। एक फेज था बिटवीन 90 to 95th मिनट वेयर इट वाज कंप्लीटली गुड गेम मैनेजमेंट, एंड आई वाज एक्चुअली होपिंग कि नो, वी माइट एक्चुअली सर्वाइव इट, बट दिल में धक धक हो रहा था। And and it happened. They just capitulate right when you need, and obviously that cut in again. United always they struggle at the cut in, and that's where it happened. Dallo with the wrong, but to be honest, that VAR decision thoda sa dicey hai.
यस।
I don't think it
unfair. I
was
think both the
exactly a
penalties were
foul.
unfair.
है ना, है ना।
Yeah.
Both the
सॉफ्ट था,
penalties were
काफी
unfair.
सॉफ्ट था।
Very
टू सॉफ्ट। यस यस। एंड एज आशीष भाई ने भी पॉइंट आउट किया, इवन 90th to 95th मिनट ना, देयर वाज अ टाइम जब हम लेफ्ट फ्लैंक पे देयर वाज अ ट्रायंगुलर पासिंग गोइंग ऑन।
यस
सो आई वाज
यस।
लाइक
Exactly.
यार ये तो हम लिटरली खेल रहे हैं, लाइक we'll go through this, but
Mount मजे कर रहा था वहां पे, seriously.
हाँ
And
एग्जैक्टली।
so same place against Brentford also. If you remember, Ivan Toney playing on the same area gives a
yeah,
pass, and then the 1-1 equalizer happens, right? So when Noni Madueke enters that same area and Dallo puts his hand or whatever, I mean, it was deja vu. Like it was meant to happen. It happened again from the same area. I mean, when are they going to learn from their mistakes? Trauma, absolute trauma.
Were you guys happy with the subs that ETH made?
Couldn't have gotten Rashford at all. I think Rashford was walking, literally walking for a
उसका एक वीडियो अभी वायरल हो रहा है। ही इज जस्ट वो ट्रैक बैक भी नहीं कर रहा है, वो ऐसे ऐसे कैजुअल स्ट्रोल कर रहा है।
there are a lot of videos. I mean, just not this season. There's a plethora of
है
videos
ना?
across
क्यों
all
क्यों
seasons.
मतलब
right,
व्हाट्स रॉन्ग विद हिम?
उसको इंस्ट्रक्शंस दी जाती हैं कि डोंट, I doubt that ETH just says like don't press, but it's just that maybe he's just given this freedom कि you can just kind of walk around, like save your energy, counter मिले तो भाग जाओ. But the thing is, why does Holland don't get that kind of freedom, right? Like he's constantly, I think he was pressing more for 60 minutes until the
He
point he
was.
was substituted way more
exactly,
than like
exactly.
Rashford was for the past 20 minutes.
Hoyland was opening up Garnacho and Anthony in that game with his
Exactly.
hold up play, but he was not offering much in terms of the final third.
या
तभी ETH उसको निकाला. But I would have, like, that's the thing. The teams, modern teams these days, they do game management right at the other half of the game, not by playing low block. And this used to be the old tactics where you manage a game and just defend and try to play low block and just defend the lead. No, this doesn't work that anymore today. जब 90 से 95th minute, as Ankush was telling, हम लोग triangle pass खेल रहे थे, we were managing the game, and just when we lost the ball, counter start हुआ, right? And this
Yeah.
is how you need to do it, and we don't have the players to do it right now, and we can't do it with Rashford. That's why I always stand with the statement that Rashford is still not world class. उसके around आप team नहीं बना सकते.
He's 26 now.
Yeah.
And we're still like, okay, he has potential. Like he needs to be the one who's like leading this attack. He needs to be the one who sets examples in training and on the pitch.
I would have been more comfortable if Hoyland would have been there to the 90th minute. He would have held the ball actually better with
Absolutely,
Bruno.
absolutely. He would have given his heart for, going in and protecting the defense also at times. Rashford simply ends up walking. I mean, poor Hoyland, I sometimes feel he's like a dish antenna receiver. Every time I think he'll end up breaking his back one day because the number of times that he has to shield, the ball and from the defenders, and when he's receiving a high pass and then pass it on. and you understand he's doing a thankless job because the
बहुत मेहनत
wingers
करता है यार वो.
that
Yeah.
comes after that. So it's like, so it's a very thankless job. I wonder what's Hoyland's mentality right now. I think he's doing a far greater job for United than Rashford, it's disappointing.
I think ये
honestly.
पहला सीजन है ना हॉलैंड का, तो I think he's still
This is the
wanting
first
to
season.
prove himself कि नहीं, मैं वो fans लोगों को दिखाना
He's
चाह रहा हूँ
very
कि
young. He's still very
plus
young
young
and
भी
really
है,
coming
yeah.
from
The fact that he's basically the only striker.
Out and
He's
out, yeah.
Like,
that's it.
we can't even like start anybody else.
Yeah.
Exactly. And coming from Syria, which is like a still like a slower league to come into Premier League and still trying to prove himself. I think he's showing some grit.
Adapt करने
But
के लिए भी
let's-
time लगता है बहुत जन को. Yeah.
Yeah, but let's come back to that fourth goal. Okay.
हाँ.
Okay, I can still accept a 3-3. ठीक है, चलो आप पेनल्टी दे दिए. Dalot has had a great season, consistency in this season. ठीक है, हो गया गलती, चलो 3-3. Everyone went on to the attack. If you see in that last minute of play, everyone went on to the attack. They lose the ball right in the middle of the 60 yards. And then there was a 3 versus 2 situation. Then we have a corner somehow. And then when we were defending the corner, everyone was asleep. Everyone was right in front
Switched
of the
off.
goalkeeper playing a low block. They completely switched off, and obviously you will face a deflection.
Guess who we leave unmarked at the edge of the box? The best player
Best
of
player
the
of
Chelsea
Chelsea.
team.
Yeah.
Like,
Baffling, man.
From
It's
distance. But the United players, I think all they had to do was at that point of time either foul him, whatever. Somebody should have just stuck to him, because I think it was Cole Palmer against United at a point of time, right? I mean,
absolutely.
he was literally carrying Chelsea. I mean, basically, if you look at the game, it was two bad teams playing and proving who's worse than each
Who's
other.
worse than each other.
Cole Palmer was the standout player, literally, right? So at a point of time wherein David Dalot goes in and he thought he'll, somehow, redeem himself by scoring the fourth goal or something. These guys lose the ball, then the counter happens, then the corner is quickly taken. Reminds me of the Liverpool corner, epic corner, and these guys are caught with their pants down simply. So
Yeah, we lost against a team of wankers. Like, to be honest, Chelsea was shit in that game, apart from the
Shit,
21st
absolutely.
minute.
they didn't deserve the win, definitely. It was
And look at Poch
fortunate.
celebrating like crazy as if he saved his job. But
Yeah.
he's gonna get the sack
He
soon,
might have.
for sure. Garnacho's goal, like those two efforts, like very nice. He did the first goal. The second goal was a nice header with a great assist by Anthony. We did a comeback. So good. A win after so long at Stamford Bridge. And I was like,
I actually have a couple of I was thinking post game, and I had a couple of things that I was just pondering upon. The first thing, do you think Dalot should have just told Madueke taken a yellow or a red before he entered the box?
Fair point. Yeah.
or not commit at all. Just hold.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Maguire was right in front.
Okay, you're up against a guy who's just come in, he's fresh legs, and you're tired. Just take the foul, man. Just pull his shirt or something.
ले लो टीम के लिए. Yeah.
Or
Well,
even
but-
if he was in the box, Ankush, even if he was in the box, there were already 3 defenders lining up to save that curler
Yeah.
from Madueke. And Onana was in the right position.
Yeah.
Dalot should not have panicked there. That it speaks volumes about the trust the defense has
Yeah.
among each other. There's no trust in the defense, and that's why you have this
Yeah.
95th minute equalizer.
Absolutely. I mean, it's Maguire, for heaven's sake. There's a wall. He's standing right in front, right?
Yeah,
If it was
Maguire would do
Martinez,
it.
I'd get worried.
For all you know, the way these Chelsea players are, किसी ने छक्का मार दिया होता, उसको Madueke ही ऊपर से निकाल देता गोल के टारगेट पे जाता. It could have been managed game
थोड़ा
presence.
in a better way. Yeah. As a neutral, मैं बोलूंगा कि it was a game Chelsea did not deserve to win, and it was a game United did not deserve to lose, basically. है ना? Definitely.
Of course.
As a neutral, मैं
Of course.
बोलूंगा. From this game, what were the key takeaways for you guys?
It looks like Anthony looked good to me. I think it was one of his good performance right up there for sure. You could probably ask, is it like Anthony जो अच्छा खेला था या Chelsea made him look good? So it's debatable, but I think he did well. He did really well.
He did well,
I mean,
yeah.
he was coming back to help on the
Need to
defense.
give it to him.
He was quick on the wings. I liked it. He was confident. For first time I actually saw glimpses of him not actually
एक वो
cutting in on the
take
left.
on किया, आप देखे, एक वो take on किया था पूरा एकदम लेके,
Yeah.
which was very
Yeah,
It was
rare.
not just one take on. Vivek, it was not just one take on.
It was
He did like
several.
3 take ons. It was
नहीं
several
मैं
take ons.
मैं एक पर्टिकुलर को हाईलाइट कर रहा हूँ कि वो जनरली नहीं करता है ये सब, एंड ये गेम में वो कर रहा था. मैं बोला where has been this Anthony, कहाँ था ये वाला?
This was the Ajax Anthony actually.
Yeah.
Where he was
Exactly.
pressing a lot.
For me, that was Anthony was a positive.
I think Garnacho was the standout. I mean, now we end up expecting a lot from Garnacho on the left wing, considering he's playing ahead of Rashford. So I think he's fulfilling promise. Anthony, yes, a little bit of promise, but I'll not get carried away because it was against Kukurea, who's not known for his defensive qualities, to be honest. I think Onana
Right.
kept up with the form that he's recently got. I think 2 of the goals were penalties, so you can't ask much from him. But other than that, Onana kept up with his
He did well.
form.
Yeah.
Other than that, I also was severely disappointed that Mainu is not continuing that stellar form that he's got of late. So that was the disappointment bit. Defense, I really can't, tear into them enough.
डालो का परफॉर्मेंस से आप खुश थे? I
No,
think he had a
not at all.
stinker. He bit of a stinker था उससे.
Yeah,
Normally he
had a bit
does
of a-
well.
Normally he does well because he goes higher up and he plays, but his defensive duties, he always shirks his defensive duties, as a result of which there is more pressure on the centre backs. And right now, considering the fact that the only 2 available centre backs for United are Maguire and Wali Kambwala, it is going to get really difficult. I mean, we
Right.
had Johnny Evans do a cameo for 15 minutes. That speaks volumes about where we are right now. So in the end, it's disappointing.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
coming back to the Dallo point,
Huh.
he was playing out of position. I mean, he's a left back, so let's give it to him. He has been very, very consistent the overall season. But my takeaway in this game is, I think we should conserve Mainu a bit.
मतलब कंजर्व माने रेस्ट करने के लिए बोल रहा है?
हाँ, मतलब अभी वो बहुत ज्यादा खिला है उसको.
Come
We
on.
need to, yeah. I mean,
और कौन
after
खेलेगा उसके
75
जगह पे?
minutes on this game,
अगर माइन्यू
I
बैठेगा तो
would-
कौन खेलेगा?
in this game,
That's a
okay,
term
in this
that
game,
is available in ETH's dictionary. Conserve.
yeah, conserve. So, so no, for this game at least, I would have kept Casemiro and added McTominay
Okay.
because
Okay.
I saw Manu losing because he was getting fatigued. I think after 75th or 80th minute, he was losing a lot of balls to Enzo, and
He was putting in a double shift basically because
he was putting a
Casemiro
double shift, exactly.
doesn't have the legs, right? Even he was walking for a large
Yeah.
part of the game, in case you know.
But that experience would have counted at least to
प्लस
manage
फ्रेंडलीज
the
में भी
game a
खेल
bit.
रहा था, इंग्लैंड के लिए भी खेल रहा था, तो
Right,
उसको
right,
ब्रेक
right.
भी नहीं
And
मिला
another takeaway of this from this game is
Hmm.
is definitely Ten Hag out.
Really? अभी से?
Yeah. No, 100%. Why? I'll tell you. There will be games where ठीक है, there's no defensive organization. I have seen better defensive organizations from bottom half sides who are way less skilled on paper than United players to actually make sure you manage the game and just hold on there. I can't see this team playing every game with this same formula that there will be a 30 to 40 yard gap between the defense of the midfield and just a right winger is just moving around in the midfield with like a 4-3 situation. 3-2 situation all the time. We are always like panicking that okay, there's a counter attack, we will concede. This is where the manager comes in, and you need to manage your team, and you need to manage your tactics. Your dream solution, you can't play your dream game with these players. These are not the players for you, Ten Hag, that you can play your game. You're a good manager when you play with your averages and you play with what you have. And I'm seeing this in every game, that there is a big gap, and this is unacceptable from a team that is competing to be 5th or 6th in this league at least. And that's the takeaway. I'm sorry, Erik Ten Hag. Thanks for your time, but you should be gone right now.
I wanted to quickly get Ankush's view on this. Keep ETH or discard ETH?
I'd say keep him. I think he's just been through a lot. We've never had a consistent backline. Obviously, he needs to. I get it that we need to get in touch with. Okay, you play with what you have and all that. I feel like it's more of like a attitude in the players that just it's very fickle minded. Like they're not up for it. They get capitulated very easily. Honestly, even if we get rid of Erik ten Hag, I don't see these players doing well under anybody else.
Yeah. More of a player problem, isn't it? Rather than a coaching problem.
I genuinely feel it's more of a player problem. And secondly, I believe Erik ten Hag deserves some time with a proper management around him, proper structure around him. I just want to see how he does, right? Not saying he's going to do well or he's not going to do well. Let's give him that chance. If we're in the same position come Jan next year, then it's pretty clear. But I think we should definitely keep him for now.
Would you guys agree if I say this कि ETH को ना खाली एकदम कोचिंग कैपेसिटी में ही रखो, उसको ये ऑफ द फील्ड वाला जो चल रहा है ना, पॉलिटिक्स वगैरह, सैंचो का सिचुएशन हो गया, CR7 का हो गया, उसको ये सब हैंडल करने मत दो. वो खाली कोचिंग करेगा. ही विल जस्ट सेट आउट द टीम वीक इन वीक आउट I think you do well.
I've said this quite a few times. जब भी मैं किसी से भी बात करता हूँ, he's a good coach, but he's not a good man manager.
He's good. I have the same point as well.
A manager has to be like, I'm not completely like protecting him. That he has his flaws. बहुत flaws हैं. For example, his media like management. Of course, language comes into play, but sometimes he says things that are like very like.
It's true, like pleasing the club. Pleasing the club a lot. Like this press conference are like meme material.
You're left wondering that what is he really saying? What is he really smoking, right? And that's, I mean, is completely contradictory to what I would think a United manager would speak about. And I think that's my 2 cents on this, that, you know, a big club manager essentially knows how to manage big players, big egos, right? But full principle attitude is not going to work. That's the reason you'll always have fallouts with certain big characters in the game, right? Be it Ronaldo, who we understand might not have been right for the situation that Man United is in right now. But the Sancho treatment or other things that might not come out. So ETH, yeah, should focus on his football more and not recruitment and not everything else. Also, the fact that half of the players that ETH recruited are actually more injured, you know, in terms of the injury list than the rest of the United players, speaks more about ETH's incapacity as far as, you know, player development is concerned, right? So you always have somebody, and, you know, in terms of, again, last I mentioned that conservation is not something that he understands. The moment Lisandro Martinez is available to play, he'll get him to play even a 20-minute cameo if possible. Guy ends up injuring himself again and then is out of the scene for 2 more months. Lisandro Martinez, by the way, is our best bet at defense at this point of time, right?
Exactly.
So keep these things in mind. The way player management has happened, both in terms of managing their egos or their development or their physical situation, ETH has been a rank failure, if not anything else, right? So that's the reason that compels me. The kind of football that we are playing, even if with a full squad of people that ETH backs, do we play a football with a better philosophy? The answer is no. The gap still exists. The CDM role that somebody is supposed to essay, first of all, is Casemiro going to do that? Is McTominay going to do that? Is Mainu going to do that? There is confusion around that. You understand that Mainu's, who's going to carry? I mean, it's just kick a long ball and inshallah, right? So that's absolutely not working for United, right?
Yeah.
Defense and a 40 feet gap, and after that, midfielders who are confused, and then a striker who does not get service, and wingers who are playing for personal glory more than anything else. That defines United right now. That defines ETH's philosophy, and that's why I say no ETH.
Okay.
Yeah, perfectly put.
एक one word answer आपको देना है, ठीक है? आप तीनों को एक सवाल है. Your standout player for United this season so far.
Standout player or all season, like full अभी तक.
Entire season.
Garnacho.
Till this point. Okay. Garnacho. Okay.
Garnacho for me as well.
Mainu नहीं?
Mainu भी है मेरे दिमाग में, but
consistency, and Mainu also entered the season towards mid, right? So overall, the amount of responsibility you put on the young shoulders of Garnacho, I think he's ended up doing a fair job. So Garnacho.
But well, he started the season well also. वो बीच में तो नहीं आया ना? He had a good pre-season. Everton game में भी उसने debut किया था. I think he did well. वो Garnacho वाला जो
at least United के पास goal of the season तो है.
Ankush भाई.
Obviously Garnacho, but I'll also say Dallo. Dallo has a fair shot.
Dallo as well.
Consistently played on the right back position. जब Bissaka was injured. Left back पे भी खेला when, you know, we've had issues with Shaw and Malacia. So I've seen a lot of improvement in Dallo since past.
Oh yeah, 100%.
There was a time जब it was all Van Bissaka last year. Dallo was coming off the bench or he was just benched. So this season I think he's put in a shift every game, consistently played. Basically, he's played all season. I also feel this time pe Erik ten Hag is more concerned about just wins and saving his job, so he's not really even trying to experiment. He's just so like
they want to salvage the season.
Whatever works, I'll try to make it.
If you see the FA Cup game, it's like पूरा झोंक दिया सबको. We were playing 2-5-3. चल रहा है Bruno defense में.
Bruno defense, Aguero attack.
पूरा full vibe.
And I think that played to our advantage because like Liverpool players were confused, like क्या हो रहा है.
क्या हो गया
So, हाँ वो
Yeah.
एग्जैक्टली ये क्या हो गया, ये क्या फूक लिया इन लोगों
ये
ने?
ब्रूनो सेंटर बैक क्यों है?
I was just telling to Ashish and SK भाई अंकुश, ठीक है कि मैं ट्वीट करने वाला था, ठीक है, कि आई एम टॉर्न बिटवीन कि क्या ETH कैन ही डिफीट क्लॉप्स लिवरपूल अगेन एट ओल्ड ट्रैफर्ड, एंड विल क्लॉप अगेन गेट डिफीटेड बाय ETH एट ओल्ड ट्रैफर्ड। ये दोनों के बीच में मैं आई एम टॉर्न बेसिकली, ठीक है, कि क्या होने वाला है। तो बिफोर वी बिगिन, आप लोग मेरे को ये बताओ कि FA कप का तो जो हिस्टोरिक मैच था, वाज वन ऑफ द ऑल टाइम क्लासिक्स में एक था, राइट? कैन ETH replicate the same form, the same mentality, the same style of play, जो भी द एंटायर ऑरा जो वो मैच का था, कैन ही, क्या वो ये लीग मैच में लेके आ सकता है?
एक जगह पे यूनाइटेड अटैक ऑलवेज फ्लरिशेस इज अगेंस्ट अ टीम हु प्लेज अ वेरी हाई लाइन डिफेंस। ठीक है, ये हम लोग देख चुके हैं। सो यूनाइटेड विल डेफिनेटली अटैक, but this is a different ball game where McAllister is back in prime form, Endo is back in prime form
कुछ
again,
प्राइम
Salah
राइम
is
नहीं,
back।
जस्ट एक क्या बैंगर मार लिया,
कुछ
प्राइम राइम, कुछ
नहीं
प्राइम राइम
नहीं,
नहीं,
अरे
अच्छा
अच्छे
प्लेयर है बस।
फॉर्म में है, दे अच्छे फॉर्म में है, दे आर डूइंग वेरी वेल, दैट्स व्हाई ऑन दे आर ऑन टॉप ऑफ द लीग,
या
दैट्स टेस्टामेंट टू द वर्क दे आर डूइंग।
शिट
So
मैन।
इस बार I don't see Liverpool losing it, and Klopp is a way experienced and potent manager than Ten Hag for sure. He
ओके,
won't make that same mistake again. And that was extra time. Extra time में कुछ भी हो सकता है in a big clash, and it's a knockout game.
फेयर एनफ।
League is a different ball game altogether, and we have seen in the past how Liverpool have decimated United consistently in the recent past. So I don't think so. It's a no-brainer that Liverpool is going to win. I mean,
विन
we won't mind.
मतलब तू
Liverpool will
कॉन्फिडेंट,
win.
मतलब तू कॉन्फिडेंट नहीं है कि मतलब एक ड्रॉ भी करा ले करके?
So there's a lot of at stake, a lot of things at stake here for Liverpool as well.
हाँ,
Because City, Arsenal might have a decent run as well. If they can't slip up against United, if they slip up against United, City will definitely start their own role. And this will be the defining game for Liverpool. If Liverpool wins this game, they're winning the Premier
Klopp is somebody who's also concerned with his legacy, right? So he would want to go away with Old Trafford with a win. I think he's going to put his best 11 over here. I think what's going to stand out is Ibrahima Konate coming in. If you look at the last FA Cup match, I think there was another defender, I think Ponsa or somebody who was
League.
getting a little lead by United forwards. I think Ibrahima Konate historically has not conceded or
हम्म,
largely bullied people like Rashford, right? So I think that is going to
Absolutely.
be a big difference, considering Virgil van Dijk will have Ibrahima Konate against him, along with him instead of Kwanzaa over here.
हम्म,
Endo, again, a big, muscle for Liverpool, considering now then Soboslai and McAllister can then look at servicing Nunes better, because
Exactly.
you see Diaz and Salah again gunning for individual glory, and rightfully so, because they've been pretty successful. So, but the kind of service that Nunes gets from Soboslai and McAllister is something I only wish Højlund gets from any of our midfielders, which
हम्म।
is never going to be the case.
And
So,
SK Bhai, I saw
yeah,
that game, that Liverpool Sheffield game in the last 25 minutes when Robertson came in. Oh my God, ball after ball, cross after cross. He was looking so sharp even after coming up from injury. So there
yes.
you go. It's already sorted for them that it's going to
अरे
be
वो
a.
शेफील्ड यार, तू कहाँ कंपेयर कर रहा है?
अरे तो आप देखो वो ना कि इंजरी से प्लेयर वापस आके अचानक से इज गिविंग अ ब्रेक,
He's world
मेकिंग अ बिग
class.
इम्पैक्ट।
Robertson is
Yeah,
world
वन
class.
वन
yeah,
से
he
थ्री
is.
वन हो गया। So
Yeah, he's one of the
you
most
see,
iconic
it
left
all
backs in
adds
the
up.
league.
It
Yeah.
all adds up. It can't one player can't win the game. It all adds up.
I think a great point made by Soma by there. Last game में we were enjoying in the first half because there was Konza and Gomez, and they were
Exactly.
constantly, we were like bombarding that side.
Bombarding them. Exactly.
अब वो side अब वो नहीं होगा. It'll be Konate and I think
Bradley.
Bradley, right? Or I think Curtis is back. Curtis Jones
Curtis
is
is
back.
back. Yes.
वो
So
अच्छा
he's
होल्डिंग में, हाँ वो
all
अच्छा होल्ड करेगा, but
so it's
yeah,
and the third thing, it's a league game. So
Hmm.
Liverpool is definitely gonna come in all guns blazing with a different attitude altogether. I think last game they weren't. There was a point where they felt super comfortable and they just kind of lifted their foot off the pedal. I don't think so. They do that this time. I think
Yeah, it was a
if they're
cardinal mistake that Klopp did taking out Salah, right? So it was the
right,
comfort keeping in
Hmm.
that he took out Salah. He thought he could still, manage the game and everything that didn't work in his favor. I think it was chaotic football more than anything else that won
exactly.
United that match.
Right.
But organized football, definitely Liverpool's going to tear a new one for United. I just
अच्छा,
hope
The
it's not.
तो
the
what I
second
हाँ बोलो please, yeah, go on.
the second thing that from a United's perspective कि हमें क्या fuel कर सकता है और what we can do is just think about the fact that we can stop Liverpool from doing their 20th. So just think about
That's
that.
a bigger
Like that's,
motivation there.
Yes.
gonna
That's a
be my
bigger motivation.
Yeah.
if I'm the manager, that's gonna be my message to the lads. Like last year, we had the chance to stop City's treble. We couldn't do that. This year, there's another United legacy on the line. We have the chance. Just please, the gravity of a game can be enough motivation to the players if the players are, aware and mature enough to understand it. That it means a lot. If Liverpool making the
That's a
20th.
big if.
That's a big if. Can't keep
मैं
their
तो
heads.
चाहता हूँ कि ईटीएच पार्टिंग गिफ्ट दे, फेयरवेल गिफ्ट दे क्लब को, ले 2 डिफीट्स ओल्ड ट्रैफोर्ड में लेके जाओ वापस जर्मनी, जाओ वहां पे जाके
That would
वीड
be
फूको,
classic.
वहां पे वीड भी
I
लेके
don't
जाओ
even
वहां
mind
जाके
sixth position if that happens, honestly.
I mean,
अरे वो
obviously we
वहाँ
don't mind.
वहाँ
लीगल भी हो
लीगल
गया,
इधर वहाँ फ्रिंगपोंग वगैरह अपना सेलिब्रेशन कर रहे हैं
सेलिब्रेशन भी
अब
कर रहे हैं, हाँ सही है। मैं क्या सोच रहा था ना कि ईटीएच ना, नोइंग कि भाई वो अपने जॉब को बचाने के लिए ना वो कुछ भी कर सकता है, वो वाला बात अभी चल रहा है। एंड बैक टू बैक डिफीट्स अगेंस्ट चेल्सी एंड लिवरपूल ना इज गोना कॉस्ट हिम द जॉब, ईटीएच का बेसिकली। तो वो ये होने नहीं देगा, इज व्हाट आई एम थिंकिंग एंड ट्राइंग टू मैनिफेस्ट बेसिकली। तो मैं
I think
ये अंदर ही अंदर होप कर रहा हूँ कि ईटीएच कहीं से कुछ तो वो एक लाए, एक फॉर्म और कुछ एक बोले, जादू टोना वोना करके सब झाड़ फूंक करके, ठीक है, एक टीम
But
तैयार
boss,
करे।
किससे आशा
boss,
बैठा रखे हो भाई?
we have three very
कहाँ सपने
optimistic
देख रहे हो?
I think
insights
Vivek bhai,
and
the thing
sitting
is
here.
ना if you think about it, पिछले 2 games में we've lost points from a situation जहाँ हम additional time में जीत रहे थे।
या
Exactly.
It is very difficult to come like mentally in players के लिए. I've seen these players. It's very difficult for these. ये इन्होंने अगर पहला गोल खा लिया लिवरपूल के अगेंस्ट, I'm
तो
telling
बहुत
you,
मुश्किल हो जाएगा।
it'll be very bad. It'll be
या
very bad. It could be 3-0, 4-0 kind of.
4-0, exactly.
I'm just praying. That's all we can do. I have no hope.
अच्छा, तो बेसिकली तीनों पैनलिस्ट बोल रहे हैं कि मुश्किल लग रहा है फॉर यूनाइटेड टू सैल्वेज सम काइंड ऑफ पॉइंट या
क्योंकि
विन।
हेड नहीं है, like we can win this one if we
Yeah.
keep our heads.
अच्छा, मान लो आप हो इन चार्ज, ठीक है, यू 3 आर इन चार्ज ऑफ पुटिंग आउट अ टीम, तो क्या होगा आपका प्लेइंग 11 टीम?
I think defense we don't have a lot of choices, so
Okay.
it's going to be Dallo, Maguire. I haven't heard back. I haven't read or heard anything about Varane or Evans, so I'm gonna assume they're not available. So I'm
They're not available. No.
Kambala and
They're not.
Maguire, and then you'll have Bissaka on the right. I'm hoping Bissaka does what he did in the FA Cup game against Salah. I mean, for the majority, he did score a goal, Salah, but it was more of like off Onana.
हाँ, वो डिफ्लेक्शन गोल था वो।
Bissaka did his job. He kept Salah at bay. So that, and then I think he's going to go with the same midfield, Menu, Casemiro, and Bruno, even though I think he should probably try and rest Menu. One of Menu or Casemiro. Casemiro was so bad, by the way.
Yeah.
He looked
I think he's
tired.
talent busted.
He was flying into tackles. They were not tackles, they were lunges. I think he might rest one of them and put in McTominay. But yeah, that's going to be my midfield. And then I think he'll start Rashford this time with Hoyland and Salah.
I think I would put Wan-Bissaka again on a shift on the left back so that Salah can be countered because it's relatively easier to manage Diaz than Salah. Right back should be Dallo, and Dallo would obviously go up front trying to sync up with Anthony, and I hope Ahmad, at least in the second half, if at all ETH gives him a chance. In the midfield, Mainu has to play because this is a very crucial match. Mainu has to play. He has to shoulder a lot of responsibility again, unfortunately. I would give one last hurrah to Casemiro because I think this should be one game wherein he needs to redeem himself before he gets shipped out to Saudi, for all I care. And if it doesn't work in the first half, then maybe McTominay. That's all. And this whole bullshit of Bruno playing as a deep playmaker has to go away. He has to play in his pivotal 10 role, and he has to be upfront and create those hero ball chances for Olumeno, because I think that is all that we have against Liverpool. Bruno's hero balls converting into goals. That's all. And front again, Hoyland, Garnacho, and again, as I said, Anthony or Ahmad. and maybe a cameo from Rashford, should he feel the need or urgency to play for United and turn up as a different player altogether?
Soumya he's gonna give an interview again. See, and he's like, Soumya don't question my loyalty to United. Even though he's just like jogging.
अच्छा एरिक्सन का क्या है वो फिट नहीं है
Match fitness नहीं है, he's gonna leave
he
United.
ना but what I was thinking कि maybe he could do a job in a crunch time against Liverpool but वो अगर fit नहीं है तो कहाँ से हो पाएगा
Fit.
If Bruno gets injured or Bruno gets super tired in a 60-70 minute time frame, I would really want Eriksen to replace Bruno, because Eriksen can create those chances, but he hasn't got the legs. He's
Yeah.
not an apple to apple replacement for Bruno, because Bruno has 4 lungs. Everybody knows, right? He runs around the entire field. Eriksen cannot run to save his life right now. That's the truth.
But I'm hoping for a impact from Mount off the bench. I'm hoping that he's gonna do well.
You know, I would beg to differ with the starting 11 precise is game के लिए
अच्छा go on
tactically.
yeah okay
Or
okay
2-2-2 standpoint, where I would like Rashford and Haaland to actually complement each other at the front, and then Anthony doesn't start in this game. The game I want Bruno and Mount to start this game.
I get that. मैं ये बोलने वाला था ठीक है कि why not tackle it in a traditional 4-4-2 old fashion वाला 2 players
Right.
रखेंगे एक up top जो कि running behind वो सब कर सकते हैं
Exactly.
ठीक है Haaland and Rashford and midfield को पूरा पैक कर देंगे हम लोग उसको बॉल ही नहीं देंगे
Exactly.
ठीक है मैन मार्क सब करेंगे टैकल
Just
वैकल
how
सब मारेंगे
Arsenal,
हाँ
exactly.
पुराने
Just how
टाइम में ऐसे
Arsenal
करते
did.
थे
So
right.
they packed one space, so City was bound to play the side ball, and
हाँ
again they packed the defense this way. So we
हाँ
need to do that packing correctly, and Rashford को आप release करो long balls to the left, क्योंकि Bradley आपको वो gap देगा.
He's no mean young defender. I think he's going to give a tough fight to Rashford.
अरे हम
If
खाली
at all.
यहाँ से पॉजिटिव एनर्जी इमोट करके ना वहां पे हम लोग सेंड कर रहे हैं जाओ यूनाइटेड को जाओ पॉजिटिव एनर्जी करके ठीक है
So 4-2-2-2 खेलूंगा, and would actually bring on subs quite early in the game. I won't waste much time if a player is actually not doing well. This game, Ten Hag will start with Casemiro and Manu again. He won't start with McTominay for sure. But उसमें if we see that Casemiro is actually falling behind the pace of Endo and McAllister इन लोग and Szoboszlai इन लोग अगर पूरा run कर रहे हैं midfield, he needs to switch. Bruno will be again deeper, and then he has to bring on Garnacho. I mean, he has to think out of the box. I mean, most people won't agree with me, not Garnacho not starting this game, but I think we might have to play this a bit differently. या फिर Rashford अगर फॉर्म में नहीं है उसको स्टार्ट मत करो and then release Garnacho as a just a behind striker with Haaland. क्योंकि हमको एक आदमी को रिलीज करना है and we need someone to hold the ball, and Mount can hold the ball, Bruno can pass the ball, and they both can actually produce that quality and that ball directly to that can release, and that's what we need to exploit the way we did in the first half of the FA Cup quarterfinal until 40 minutes after we capitulated.
Okay, quick predictions. I know सब इतने confident नहीं लग रहे हो तीनों के तीनों, either underplay कर रहे हैं, jinx नहीं करने का try कर रहे हैं, या फिर सही में confident नहीं हो.
नहीं होने वाला है.
Lost the bragging rights.
We lost the bragging rights.
दोनों मैनचेस्टर में भी और यहाँ पे भी ऐसा सीन हो गया ना. क्या दिन आ गया यार, सीरियसली है ना. चलो प्रेडिक्शन एक जल्दी बोल दो.
If I start, it's gonna be 4-1 to Liverpool.
Fuck, really?
अरे Camp, what do you think Liverpool with Nunes, Gakpo, Salah, and in log with Szoboszlai, they won't score against Maguire and Willy Cambola?
And Nunes side wide में मार देगा यार. वो मिस कर दे.
Nunes score कर लेगा. So it's gonna be 4-1.
2-0 Liverpool. I think we will try to put in a shift, but ultimately team will go into disarray. And 2-0 Liverpool victory.
I think it's going to be 3-1. We score first, and then we kind of, capitulate. So I think 3-1.
चलो पैनल ही नहीं वो
पैनल ही आप क्या बोल रहे हो.
तो मैं जाके प्रार्थना करूंगा कि भगवान ऐसा कुछ कर दे कि कहीं ना कहीं से कुछ यूनाइटेड कुछ मैजिक करके ना लिवरपूल को मतलब फाड़ दे एकदम से. क्लॉप को फेयरवेल गिफ्ट दे दे कि भाई जाओ अब वापस जाओ जर्मनी, जैसे हम लोग बात कर रहे थे, वापस जाओ जर्मनी, वहां पे फ्री माल फूंको, ठीक है, वहां पे तो लीगल भी हो गया.
गिफ्ट मिला आर्सेनल को, दैट्स व्हाट यू वांट, इजंट इट?
हाँ तो कुछ हो. फ्रॉम अ न्यूट्रल पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू मैं चाहता हूँ कि ड्रॉ हो जाए यार. मतलब आई नॉट से कि मतलब यूनाइटेड जीत जाएगा, ऐसा मैं नहीं बोल रहा हूँ, बट रियलिस्टिकली आई वांट यूनाइटेड टू फाइट, एंड वो बिग टाई है ना, इट्स यूनाइटेड वर्सेस लिवरपूल यार, एट द एंड ऑफ द डे वो कुछ भी हो सकता है। लीग फॉर वीक फॉर्म कुछ काम नहीं करता है। हिस्टोरिकली अंडर
Yeah.
सोल्शर वी हैव सीन ना कि मतलब यूनाइटेड वुड बी डूइंग पोर इन द रन इन, एंड सडनली अगेंस्ट इन द डार्बी पता नहीं कहां से 2-0 3-0 विन कर लेगा। तो मैं
वही मैं कह रहा हूँ ना, they'll have to fuel themselves with this, like we can stop
Motivation.
Liverpool with
या
with matching our historic 20 Premier League trophies. That can fuel them, and we should, and Erik
या
ten Hag should look to like motivate the players using that. There is something to play for United. It's our club's pride on the line, basically,
या
if you really think about it. So
अच्छा, कहाँ फिनिश करने वाले, जल्दी बोल दो, रैप अप कर लेंगे। हाँ, सिक्स्थ। हाँ, सिक्स आप बोल रहे हैं, सिक्स्थ। ओके ओके। एंड एफए कप
Correct.
क्या फाइनलिस्ट या चैंपियन
Runners up,
क्या?
runners up.
रनर्स अप,
final,
ओके।
Finals.
final, yeah.
चैंपियन नहीं
नहीं है।
होता, चैंपियन बोल दो, चलेगा यार, थोड़ा मैनिफेस्ट करते हैं ना।
अच्छा, लेट्स गो, चलो देखते हैं।
चलो, इसी के साथ द एपिसोड हैज कम टू एन एंड। थैंक यू गाइस फॉर ज्वाइनिंग। अगर आप लोग को ये वीडियो पसंद आया तो प्लीज हम लोग को कमेंट्स में बताओ कि कहाँ फिनिश करने वाली है यूनाइटेड इन द लीग, एंड कैन दे स्टॉप लिवरपूल अगेन एट ओल्ड ट्रैफोर्ड। तब तक के लिए गाइस, टेक केयर, बाय, चियर्स।